Welcome to the Sales Lab.
Not necessarily possessing the knowledge, but having the ability and the inclination to go and get it, find it.
Possessing the knowledge is not the most critical part. It's really not to me because, there's certain things when I look back now that I was like, man, I wish I would have paid attention in that class a little bit more. But it wouldn't have made that big of a difference. And I'm not saying that academics aren't important. They're very important because it's how you learn, how you teach yourself, how you obtain and process knowledge and then put it into real life use is, to me, what is so critical about higher education, and allows you to be able to do what I'm describing way more effectively because you have a lot of practice doing it over multiple years in college, right? But I'll go understanding relays and inputs and outputs, and if you have the technical aptitude, it doesn't take long to having an expert sit down and explain that to you that you naturally just pick it up. Right. And there's certain times with the refrigeration cycle that I thought I had it fully figured out, totally done. And I would sit in front of a customer and they would make a comment. And then I'm like, oh, crap. Maybe I don't know it as well as I do. And I would go back to the drawing board and make sure that I was thinking through the entire process correctly. So I do think that you do have to have folks that enjoy the technical and have a curiosity for the technical, because part of what makes the sales job so fun is a lot of the time you're calling on other customers and you're account managing other customers that are technical, and then you're selling against other sales engineers who are technical as well. And yeah.
And for, somebody about to start their career, it's maybe looking at Johnson Controls, maybe looking at some other places, what would make them an especially good fit for Johnson Controls?
Well, the reason I've been here 18 years is the culture and the people that I've worked alongside of. When I think about, I could go through a lot of different groups, but my fire installation manager has been here 25 years. My controls installation manager has been here 20. The other has been here 12. My sales manager's been here 12. The other sales manager's been here 5. There's just and I'm not saying that people don't come and go. That happens with anyone. I think that it's important to, and this is somewhat unique in this generation and then just this day and age, someone that's equally as interested in what they're going to give and versus what they're going to get. Right.
Okay.
And somebody, I'll tell you this, somebody that works well in a team environment, because while our owner direct sellers are a little more siloed and on their own, our construction sellers are working in a team environment all day long. Right. Because if you think about the example I gave earlier, you may have somebody calling on the owner, somebody calling on the GC, somebody else calling on the MEP consultant, somebody else calling on the mechanical, somebody else calling on the electrical. Right. You got all, and we have a mantra of we either win together or we lose together. Right. So we don't have any lone wolves. The lone wolves that have come through here have not been successful because they don't know how to work in a team environment. And so that one's a big one. I think I kind of hit on some of it. The technical aptitude is obviously very important. I do always ask about competitive. I ask if people played sports. I ask, are they competitive? And then give me examples of where, and you can always tell pretty quick whether somebody's truly competitive or whether it's just yeah, I'm competitive. I don't the people that are competitive, they sit up in their chair and they start talking about it differently. Right. And so, I don't know that there's any silver bullet. I think really what we've been talking through this entire time are the key areas. And I think the cool thing about most of those to me is they don't require a lot of talent, right? They don't require some gifted talent, things that you're in control of, your appearance, your communication, you're doing what you say you're going to do, your grit and grind, all those type of things of the ability to shut up and listen. It may not be a talent to be a listener, but you have the ability to control whether your mouth opens or closes and whether your ears listen or not. Right. And so, I think a lot of it just comes down to understanding the fundamentals. And this can apply to any aspect of life. It can apply to being a husband. It can apply to being a father. It can apply to being a wife, a good friend. It's not really that much different. But it's being able to, even while you're in school, the way that you show up for labs and the effort that you put forth in a lab compared to the rest of your team is a really great indicator for what you'll do when you're in the workforce. Right? Because you may come into a new job and you're really excited about it and it's great. Okay, but it won't take long before your environment becomes the lab. And it's either you show up and you do your part, or you do heavy lifting because that's what you love to do, or you show up and do the bare minimum and let everybody else do the work. And so I think why higher education and is so critical is because you either take advantage of learning all of those little minute skills that don't seem like a big deal. But if done correctly and taken advantage of, they impact who you are, not just as a worker in the workforce, but as a human being and as a spouse and a parent and a friend and so many other aspects of life.